Alright, and welcome to the tutorial of how to find your score sheet now that you have registered as a scorekeeper for your team on CompuSport. So, I'm back here just in the leagues portion of CompuSport's website. I've logged in as player profile Jack Schmo, who is a scorekeeper for a team in a league that's part of Midwest Coin Concepts Fall Pool Test Event. So what I'm going to do is switch our view here to the mobile version, because I imagine that many of you will be accessing this information via a tablet or mobile device. I can briefly go back through real quick after we complete this tutorial and show you just briefly how to do the same steps on a desktop computer, but I think it's probably easier to figure out on a desktop computer as opposed to a mobile device. So now we're in the mobile view. Our first step in finding our score sheet is to select the league portal that our league is part of. In our case, our league is part of Midwest Coin Concepts Fall Pool Test Event that I've set up for this tutorial. So I select that. And here across the top is where you'll be able to search out league information by various categories. So you can choose to search a particular opponent. You can look at, the date in which matches occur. You can look at your team's schedule or the schedule of the league. You can look at by division, if there were multiple divisions in the league, and then if this was like a co-op league in which there were multiple players or teams from different operators, you could also search out particular teams or players from those particular operators. So that's a few ways of what these things are for. But back to finding your score sheet. So really there's two ways from this point. Once you get to the league portal homepage, you will have to first select your league, and by doing so, you would basically you could search again just by going here, or you could search by division. And once you search by division, then if there were multiple divisions here for your leagues, say for instance, there was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then there were multiple leagues within a particular day, you could choose a specific division and then league. And then it would pop up all that information within that league here for you. So back to finding your score sheet. Really, there's two ways of doing this. Your first way of doing this is to go up here in the upper right-hand corner, or find the icon that says scores and click on that. From that point, it will bring down all of the waiting score sheets in all of the divisions that are available at that point. In our case, it's just Division 1. I've just got one division, and so it's real easy to see which match we need to get scores in from. So our match, let's say, is on 8-3. The way that we would bring up our score sheet would be to find the match that your team is in on the correct date that the match was shot on, and then you would click on score down here, and it would prop up your score sheet. And from that point on, you would be able then to begin inputting the players' names and their scores as the match progresses or at the end of the night. The other way of achieving this exact same task would be to go back to where the home page is. And what you could do is, I find this maybe to be a little easier because it narrows down the results a little quicker, is you could choose to search league info by date, and then you could select the date in which your match is on. So any date that's got green numbers is a date in which a match is scheduled. And as you can see here on 8-3 in my test event, there are two matches that are scheduled. And so the Duck Stirpers and the Bend Station Marksmen and the Pesties versus Hillbilly Hustlers. So you could select the match that you are part of, and then you could go down and click on score, and that also would bring up your score sheet. From there, you'd be able to enter in your names and scores, or begin the process of doing that. Okay? So again, two different ways of doing the exact same thing. The first way, you could locate the icon scores click on that, and then find the match that your team is in. Click on the match to select it, and then click on scores to bring up the sheet. Or what you could do is do the exact same thing, but search it by date. So you could find date, and then you would enter in the date that is correct. In our case, let's just choose 8-3. Find the match that your team is in, click it to select it, and then choose score. And that will bring up your score sheet. Now to go back to the league portion and do this in the desktop view real quick. I'll switch to desktop version. And so here, all an individual would have to do would be to go to your league portal, and then it brings you to the league homepage. Here's where you'd be able to see all of your divisions and yada yada yada. In our case, we just have the one division. But where you'd want to access this information to enter your score sheet would be by clicking on the upper left-hand CompuSport icon, and then you would be able to click on Weighting Score Sheets, and then here is where you would be able to access your score sheet. So you would see that your team is part of Ducks Derpers, and then here's your next week's match. So you'd want to make sure that you're on the correct week, and then you would just click on score, and that would bring up your match. So there you have it. That is how you are able to enter, or not to enter your scores, but to find your score sheet here on CompuSport. Thanks for watching.